When people are considering a work of art, we are usually asked three questions. And these questions are always asked in one form or another. But what it all boils down to is, number one, is this real? Is what I have a real painting, or is it a print, or is it some sort of reproduction, or whatever? And number two, if it's real, then what is it worth? Is it something that I could sell and use to pay my mortgage payment? Is it something I could sell and buy a car? Is it something I could sell and buy a house? These are very real questions with very real answers. And then the third thing is, can I sell it? Is there a market for this? Is the market strong or weak, or what's the best way and the best venue to go and sell these things? Well, if we tear away all the glitz and the glamour of the marketplace and pushy salespeople, all the auction hype, the real issue that we often face is the issue of value. So let's talk about that. Because value is what makes a difference in art as well as life. My name is Gail Tate, and I want to welcome you to ArtWise. I wish to discuss from this basically from only one perspective, and that is my 56 years in the art business, both as artist and as art dealer. The rest of my credentials, however small or big they might be, you can find on our website at gbtate.com. The needs of our customers most often are to understand what is an honest and realistic value for works of art that they possess. And whether it's for the beginning artist or the most important artist in the marketplace, whether for a novice or whether it's a seasoned collector, the question is always the same. Is I expect to use that evaluation for whatever purposes that I have for it. Now, we retired from art gallery operations 25, 30 years ago, 1997, and since then we have concentrated on developing the areas of authentication and appraisal, and ultimately the proper evaluation and documentation of artworks. So let us take a deeper dive into all of this, and we'll chop it into more digestible pieces and take them on one at a time. Now, the issue of authorship or authenticity has always been the first thing to consider for determining value, because value always follows authorship. Determining authorship usually gets more involved and complex as the value of artwork increases. As the value increases, it requires a greater technical accuracy of its descriptions and more detail. No buyer wants to go blindly into potential purchase. Doesn't matter if he's buying a Hoover vacuum cleaner for $100 or if it's a Picasso artwork for $1 million. And frankly, no seller should either. The contrary. So I'd like to make this point by an illustration, an example, by showing three works of art and discuss their value in relationship to their characteristics. Now, the three I'm about to show you have a great deal in common. Number one, all three of these works are by Pablo Picasso. They are all of the same image. They are all lithographs on paper. And they are all, quote unquote, signed. One major difference between the three of these things is that they all have a different value. And the value of these things range widely, from a low of about $2 to a high of $22,500. Now, as I show you these things, I will talk about how they were incorrectly or misleadingly described by a vendor or someone who is trying to sell these things, and I will put the correct descriptions on them in below the image. Well, let's take a look at these things one at a time. Example number one, this is a work of art that was offered on eBay with the description and price that read, Picasso, flowers, signed, $12, and shipping was added. Now this is actually Picasso's Hands with Flowers. Very well-known image, very popular, but the proper description of this is different from the one that was offered on eBay. It is a lithograph, that part is true, and it is in fact a lithograph measuring 12 by 9 inches, which can be verified with a ruler. And then in a proper description, it is described as unsigned. But wait, there's a signature on it. Oh yes, but the signature is reproduced right along with the rest of the composition. In the close-up of the signature, you can see the earmarks of a reproduction, indistinct images or incomplete edges, and overprint in the form of spray that splashes out of ink because it's an inkjet reproduction. Sometimes we will find the typical dot matrix of commercial magazine printing on it. Now, the value of this as a reproduction is $2 unframed. Now let's take a look at example number 2. This is also a Picasso. It was brought to me by a customer of ours from a tag sale from an antique vendor. And the tag on it read, Picasso lithograph, signed, $50. Now here again is Picasso's Hands with Flowers. As you can see below, the proper description is lithograph on arch paper, which can be verified as printed on arch paper by the watermark that's on the paper. Size is 24 by 18, get your ruler out, it's 24 by 18, and signed. Yes, there's a signature on it, but unlike the first example, this one should be described as signed in the plate, which is totally different from unsigned. Now, with this particular work of art, I authenticated it myself as an original Picasso lithograph from the unsigned limited edition of 2,500, and I praised this with a value of $850. It actually has a nominal value today of around $450, which is kind of the average of many previous sales, both public and private, that we have seen over the last 5 or 10 years. I've seen it for sale and sold for as low as about $250. I've seen it for sale and sold for as high as $850. But the nominal value at auction or through honest dealers is around $50, give or take, $400 to $500 in that price range. That's the average of previous sales that we have seen over the last 5 or 10 years. Okay, now let's move on to example number 3. Now, I found this in an art and antique shop in Omaha, Nebraska, in the revitalized Market District, and it had a label on it, and it read, Picasso lithograph, signed and numbered, $300. The label is accurate, but it is incomplete. But here again, we have Picasso's Hands with Flowers. And as you can see, the proper description is it's a lithograph on arch paper. Well, that's true again, and it can be verified by the watermark. 24 by 18 inches. Yep, 24 by 18. Signed in pencil and numbered 139 of 200. Yes, there is a signature on this. In fact, there are two signatures. One is in black, which is a reproduce or included signature. And then there's another signature in pencil, hand signed by the artist Pablo Picasso, which I verified myself through research, and from the limited edition of 200 signed and numbered copies on arch papers. I researched this and authenticated it and appraised it for $22,500. Now recently another work from the same edition sold at auction in New York for $15,500 plus a buyer premium, which brought the total to $19,000 plus shipping and all that goes into it, which I brought the value up to the $22,500 figure. So we can clearly see that with just a bit of observation and discerning what the value of things, it can make a huge difference. Consider the value and the opportunity or object of value being offered to us. We will delve more into the various issues that determine the value of artworks, as well as where we go from there to determine quality, value, and price. And this goes for artists, it goes for collectors, buyers and sellers, and it goes for them at every single level. Until then, we'll see you again. Like this, if you like this, subscribe if you will, but always be in the alert for greater opportunities and great things, both in the art market as well as in life. So we'll see you again on the next video. We'll get more into this. I want to thank you for watching.